Hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Laser and today we are checking out the latest Heroes of the Storm patch notes. This is patch 19.0, also known as the Gul'dan patch, and it's a huge one. It's the biggest patch we got, I think, since the alpha days. Anyway, this will be live next week starting July 11. Now, because of the sheer magnitude of the patch, I think I'm gonna have to split it into at least two parts. Okay, so this will be part one. We're gonna start off with the public test realm. The free-to-play hero roster during PTR playtesting has been expanded to include all but 5 most recent additions to the Nexus because, well, they gotta make some money on the brand new heroes. So there you go. You can play everything on the PTR except the latest 5 heroes, so have at it. General auto-select bonus. Playing as auto-select in quick match will now award 100% bonus XP when, this is the key part, when the matchmaking system detects lengthy queues times for 1 or more heroes. And an icon will actually indicate to you very clearly over the little question mark if you're gonna get bonus XP or not. New portrait rewards have been added. Terran Frontline if you level up to 10 Nova, Morales and Hammer, and Legacy of the Void portrait if you bought Legacy of the Void. If you're interested in portraits, there you go, more stuff for you to hunt. New hero has been added, Gul'dan. Now I already did like 4 gameplays for him, build guide still yet to come. He's a tad underwhelming to me. Okay, he's a tad underwhelming to me, and in the current meta, the one we're playing on live servers right now, I do not see his spot, not really, in all honesty, but in the future meta we will have, because this is a meta shifting patch, he may have a solid spot. Again, full story in my build guide, you guys can check out the gameplays I already did for him. Performance and graphics, various performance improvements for Heroes of the Storm, even DirectX 11 now is supported. Welcome to 2016, thanks a lot Blizzard. Anyway, these are changes meant to solidify our frame rate. Right now not as much, but in the future pretty much. Okay, this is more for background stuff, like when you're running the game in background, like if you're a streamer, which most of you aren't. Okay, this helps you a little bit, but not all that much, not very significant. But I am liking the fact that they are taking the time to actually optimize Heroes of the Storm, you know, better late than never, because we do know that it has some performance issues and it needs a little bit of optimization. Cursed Hollow, various environment objects have been optimized. Towers of Doom, pretty much the same thing. These are not gameplay related. These changes are meant for lower processor use from our machines. Okay, so it's important like that. The new performance processor notification has been added. Again, nothing gameplay related. Art, visual effects for movement speed buffs have been changed now, so a higher movement speed buff will have a different effect, so you can tell the difference. Hero abilities have received additional polish. Even Murky got a new Hearthstone back animation. Hooray for that. Again, nice little quality of life, nice polish to some abilities, nothing really too important. In the shop, of course, as with any major patch, we got new bundles and stuff. I'm just trying to skip over the stuff which is not really all that important. Breaking news icon has been added to the top navigation bar in the game menu, so when there's new stuff you'll be notified there. Okay, there's a little thingy next to the clock. In-game UI, left clicks can now be issued through all the in-game UI while the cursor is in targeting mode. This didn't really bother me all that much, maybe it bothered you. It's fine that they put it in. Minimap, this is important, and you will see why kind of later in the patch. Healing wells will now display on the minimap in the form of a plus icon until they are destroyed. So now if you look on the minimap, you'll see next to the forts or keeps, this little plus icon. You know that embarrassing moment when you thought you had a healing well somewhere, and when you get there, or scroll over to that part of the map, you realize you didn't? Yeah. Now if you don't see the plus, that means there's no more healing well. Some gameplay tips on loading screen. Rejoin. Rejoin is now optional for training, single player versus AI, and custom games. Simply hit nope button when promoted to rejoin. Thanks Blizz, it only took you like a year. This was a problem because sometimes you had versus AI or whatever training selected by mistake, or somebody that invited you to the party had it selected by mistake, and you were forced to play out that game. No more, thank God, no more of that. Thanks Blizz for this one. I don't know what took you so long though. The language chat messages received from other players will now display appropriately in Heroes of the Storm, whatever. Design and gameplay. There was a bug with AFK detection which applied to Medivh for the most part. These were isolated cases, like for example when Medivh stood too long in Raven form and didn't do nothing except move around, he would get the AFK warning. It was the same case with Zeratul and Nova. Again, staying in stealth too long without actually doing anything, just moving around, would prompt you the AFK notification. This has been fixed. AI improvements, whatever. Core. Victory determination is now much more precise in situations where both cores were destroyed within fractions of a second. As a result, victory will no longer be decided at random cases where it appears that both cores are destroyed at the same time. Well guys, I don't know how many of these situations you guys have encountered. I only encountered one in over 4,000 games. Okay, I've been playing since the start of the alpha, and only once I think I had a situation like this. This wasn't a big issue. I know it sounds really nasty that it would be determined by random if they both got killed roughly about the same time, but it really didn't happen all that often. But obviously it's nice they fixed this one. Now the next part is very significant. Health regeneration globes. Previously restored 6.24 of maximum health over 4 seconds. Now will restore 12%, so almost double of maximum health, but over 5 seconds. This is a buff to health regeneration. 12% of maximum health is a big deal. Let's talk about the mana part as well. Previously only restored a flat amount over 4 seconds. Now will restore a percentage, 8% of maximum mana over 5 seconds. Obviously this is a lot more fair to casters and heroes which have a larger mana pool. The flat amount didn't really help them all that much. So regeneration globes just got a whole lot more important. Denying regeneration globes will probably be a thing now. Okay, and this is the way you can get some very nice lane sustain. So the laning phase is more important, and maybe some globe denial will be important as well. As before, not really, except the guys that obviously had the quest. You know, you would try to deny something like an Uther with Conjurer's Pursuit. Moving on to healing wells, the cooldown has been increased from 100 seconds to 120 seconds. 2 minutes worth of cooldown on healing wells. Health regeneration has been decreased to 40% instead of 41%, and it's the same, the over 20 seconds. The mana, however, has been increased. You always notice that you would get a lot more health from healing well than you would mana, and there were many situations, depending on the hero you play, that you had to tap the healing well just for mana. Okay, you were fine on health, but you didn't have any mana. The mana has been buffed to 30%, but this is a huge increase in cooldown. So before, tapping the well sometimes was kind of a meh decision. Now it will carry a whole lot more importance. Okay, the cooldown increase is very hefty. The mana we get extra is good, so we're gonna have to be a bit more tactical when choosing to actually, you know, tap the healing well. Again, bigger cooldown on this one. Minions, ranged melee and wizard minions now deal double damage to structures. Such a short line, you know, so little text, but so very significant. Double damage to structures. Double damage to structures, that is a huge deal. Up until this point, you would want to lane for a couple of reasons, okay? You want to lane mainly for XP. That was kind of the point. If you are on a quest like gather 50 globes, you would go from lane to lane and try to get as many globes as possible, but for the most part minions didn't do all that much to structures. Now they will do, which kind of raises the power of specialists. You understand? That's the thing. And now it's gonna be a whole lot more harder to ignore a minion wave. Okay, that decision to, okay, I'm not staying on this lane anymore, I'm gonna rotate to another lane and try to get a gank there. Okay, that decision will have a whole lot more weight, because if you are not successful, you're gonna get your towers destroyed maybe. Okay, as before it was acceptable sometimes to let go of a minion wave, that will no longer be the case, I feel, or not as much, at least, at the very least. So laning phase, a whole lot more important. This is what I take from the changes to healing wells, to minions, to regen globes. The laning phase is a whole lot more important. This practically encourages you to stay on lane at all times, which I don't know, I like the dynamic playstyle that Heroes of the Storm has. I like the focusing on brawling, and I think this might, okay, take a little bit away from that. I'm not sure I like it, but then again, we do need a meta shift, and this is a meta shifting patch, because the current meta is well stale and old, so give me something else, at least for a little while. Our goal with this change is to make escorting minions to towns to be more impactful, such as they can really start to do some damage if left unattended. Exactly what I said before. This change, minions were primarily XP carriers that absorbed some ammo shots from towers. Now the armies of the Nexus are a bit scarier when they march down a lane. So like I said, you can't really ignore minions anymore when they're banging on your towers. Catapult minions, check this one as well. This goes in line with everything else. Attack range has been increased by 20%. sight range increased by 17%, but more importantly will now fixate on structures just like Misha does, you know? Catapults will now acquire a new target after fixating, will not acquire a new target after fixating until the target is destroyed or the catapult is killed. Now, you know how you would have a full catapult weight marching down on your core, and minions will spawn, and then the catapults would refocus to the minions, okay? Thus not doing core damage. This will no longer be the case, and sometimes you would actually try to interrupt, you know, to intervene before the catapults got to the core, just so you tank the damage and the core doesn't. You will still be able to do that as long as you reach the catapults before they fixate. If they fixate, you gotta kill them quickly because they're gonna keep on doing damage to the core. Okay, that's a hypothetical situation which I'm sure most of you reached by this point. So again, a heavy emphasis on more siege. Notice that range melee and wizard minions are the only ones that do double damage to structures, but as you should know, catapults do a lot as well. Catapults would often reach the core but have a minion wave spawn on them, distract them, and allow them to be killed off before doing any significant damage. With the increased range and fixation on a structure, once they've started attacking, even one catapult will more consistently punch through a core's shield and do actual damage. These are all these changes put together. Again, I think these are catered not only to shift the meta in one direction, but also to end the game a whole lot more quickly, I think. Anyway, very, very important changes here, and I have no doubt that it will change the way we approach gameplay in Heroes of the Storm Battlegrounds. Guardian of Terror increases Overgrowth's damage bonus against structures from 100% to 200%. Guardian of Terror is a broken map from my point of view. The games carry out way too long, and any change that will make the game shorter on Guardian of Terror at this point is a welcome change. If they don't want to remove the battleground, fine. Talents, bribe, new functionality. Nearby minions kills grant 1 stack of bribes, spend 20 charges to instantly defeat a non-boss mercenary, 100 charges maximum. So now you will be able to bribe 5 mercenaries. You will be able with full stacks to go to a knight camp, bruiser camp, okay, and instantaneously get that one for your team. Raiders recruitment talent also changed to 100 maximum, okay, because Raiders is pretty much a bribe. Viking bribery talent increased to 200 charges maximum, but each cost 40 charges. It's easier to get stacks with Vikings, okay, because you got free and you're gonna split them up and all whatnot, but you still have a maximum of 5 minions to capture at once if you get full stacks. If a mercenary camp, this is the kicker, if a mercenary camp is completely captured using bribe, the new camp respawns 50% faster. Again, more power to pushers. Bribe is not really all that used, okay? As far as I know, bribe is meta, quote-unquote meta, only for the last Vikings, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong, you can let me know in the comment section down below. So this is a big thing. You're gonna be able to spawn multiple mercenaries faster, 50% faster. That's a huge deal, okay? More pushing, faster games. This is what I'm seeing. More power to specialists, faster games, more importance on the laning phase altogether. Executioner. The Executioner talent will now only trigger after attacking disabled heroes. The bonus damage gained through this talent will still apply to anything attack after the effect is triggered. Nothing very important here. Relentless. Relentless and similar hero-specific talents will now only reduce the duration of slows, stuns, and roots. Silence effects will no longer be reduced by this talent. This is a very small nerf to Relentless by the simple fact that we don't have a lot of silences in Heroes of the Storm, okay? But you gotta keep this one in mind. Relentless doesn't help you with silences anymore, but it helps you with everything else. Again, how many silences do we have in Heroes of the Storm? Not that many. So you shouldn't really pay too much attention to that. Doesn't really change much of anything. Okay, we're gonna go into Heroes. We're not gonna end it here, but as a conclusion to the first part, I do believe this might be the dawn of the Specialist, okay? Considering the changes to minions, the healing wells, the regeneration globes, the catapults, okay? All in all, I do believe there's gonna be a heavy emphasis on pushing, on laning, and that might cause games to be a whole lot more quicker and a whole lot more faster, which depends on where you stand. Do you like it? Don't you like it? I can't pronounce right now, but I already seen this happening on the PTR. Games ending a little bit more quickly and a lot bigger emphasis put on pushing and specialists. You can log on to the PTR and check it out if you want to. Right, so let's go into heroes. Very interesting. Very interesting. I want a meta shift because the current one is extremely stale. Okay, I'm kind of bored of it. I don't know if you guys are or not, but I would welcome a meta shift. I'm just not sure this is a direction I like, but who cares? As a part of our ongoing process to improve our talent system, we are doing a pass on all heroes in game to increase the health of their talent trees. We know that there are a fair number of talents that feel like they are either mandatory or insignificant, which is true for many heroes, and this is our first pass on putting in fixes. These fixes take many forms and can range from simply buffing or nerfing numbers to changing functionality. We're excited to keep our heroes feeling fresh, and you can look forward to additional changes to more of our heroes in upcoming patches. So this is their first sweep at trying to make talents which you had to take, not necessarily have to take, and insignificant talents, talents which nobody picked up ever, trying to buff them and try to give more build diversity to heroes, which is definitely a good thing. Let's start off with Mr. Gul. Reduces the cooldown of Twisting Nether to 80 seconds. Nobody picks up Twisting Nether, everybody picks up Shadow Vault Volley. Again, what they said here. That's the logic there. Shove reduces the cooldown from 40 to 30 seconds. Now, not a lot of people play with Shove. I love it because when I play with Annie Gul, I like to pull her in one direction and another, but anyway. Level 13, Speed of Twilight. Nobody picked this one up either. Increases movement speed bonus from 20 to 30%. So like you saw, buffs to talents which nobody really picks up, and this is a welcome change. I want some build diversity for heroes, because if we don't have build diversity, then what is the goddamn point to having multiple talents and multiple heroics, etc. Greymane. Now Greymane, according to Blizzard, didn't get a rework, but it sure looks like a rework to me. So let's look at this. I played a whole lot of Greymane in season 1. I have a lot of experience to him. He pretty much carried me to Grandmaster. Human form basic attack damage reduced, but a very, very small amount. This is not even 5%. Is it? No, it's not even 5%, so never mind this. It's not important. It's like 4-3%. Curse of the Worgen trait increases Worgen form damage bonus from 40 to 50%. It was already huge, now even bigger. This is significant. Even with this nerf, this is significant. Cocktail, Gilnean Cocktail. Secondary explosion damage has been increased by a whopping 40%. 40. That's a whole lot more damage on Gilnean Cocktail. Maybe return of Pokepoke Greymane. Cocktail Boy Greymane, which I really don't enjoy. However, the cooldown has been increased by approximately 30% to 10 seconds, so it deals a whole lot more damage. It's got a bigger cooldown, and also they changed a little bit the animation of the cocktail. I don't know if you guys were on the PTR, but you know when you threw that little bottle, it was so small sometimes it was hard to see it go in or out. It's now a whole lot bigger, okay? Now it looks like Aladdin's lamp, for example. Yeah, I kid you not. Go for the Throat has been, cooldown has been increased from 60 to 80 seconds, increased damage from 125 to 140. Now the increase in damage is significant, and so is the cooldown increase. You might think, wow, that's a huge cooldown increase for a very small damage increase. Now the damage increase is about 10-12%, something like that. The thing is, this helps a whole lot more with Greymane's Fabled Burst, okay? Greymane can absolutely burst down a target with no problem at all. Having more power on Go for the Throat, a bigger heroic damage amount will help with that burst even harder. So he will be able to burst down targets harder. He's got a larger cooldown on it. But overall, from my humble point of view, I see this as a buff. I know many people will not, but again, it helps with the burst, with cleaning up a kill really, really quickly, and I do love that. 80 seconds though, how about 70 instead, Blizz? Huh? Up for negotiation? No? No, okay. Mark for the kill, new functionality. When Greymane deals damage to the marked target, the duration of the vulnerable effect is refreshed. Now this is a 25% increased damage on the target. That's what vulnerable does for a whopping 5 seconds. So if during those 5 seconds you would Greymane attack the target with anything, as it says deals damage, okay, with anything, you will refresh that duration. This can paint a giant bullseye on a tank. Okay, enemy team has got a big old stitches coming at you and you can't get around them for whatever reason. No problem, go in with Mark for the kill, get the vulnerable onto him and watch him melt. No longer allows you to reactivate to leap to the opponent. Reduced cooldown from 60 seconds to 50 seconds. So this is a rework for Mark for the kill. Also the range has been reduced by a whopping 40%. Then they increased it, then they decreased it, and there you go. Does this mean that Greymane is now a too heroic kind of guy? I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I still think go for the throat will be the way to go for Greymane. Hopefully we will see some play with mark for the kill, but for my own 2 cents, I'm still going for go for the throat. Again, the burst potential there. I do like the vulnerable, but then again, better heroes have vulnerable. Do I really have to spend my go for the throat for that? I don't think so. Talents level 4. Insatiable mana return increased from 5 to 10, so doubled from basic attacks. Greymane does have mana issues. If you pick this one up, you still had a little bit of mana issues. Now with this doubled, I don't think you will have any mana issues at all. On level 4 though, the thing is, on level 4 you either go for, you kind of have to go for Eyes into Dark as far as I'm concerned. Eyes into Dark, or maybe if you're, or the Cocktail talent if you're building Cocktail main, or maybe even Block if they, you know, they're heavy on the melee. Nobody really picked up Insatiable as far as I'm aware, and again a buff to a underused talent. So there you go. Level 7 Incendiary Elixir. When it got its rework, nobody picked it up anymore. Well, nobody that knew what they're doing. Incendiary Elixir was pretty garbage. Okay, the quest talent was absolutely underwhelming, and it was mech damage and whatever. So it wasn't really worth picking up. Increase the cooldown reduction from the quest completion from 2 to 4 seconds, but just keep in mind that the normal cooldown has been increased as well. Okay, by 2 seconds, that's why they put the 2 seconds over here. Remove the impact damage increased from the talent. Increase the explosion damage gained per hero hit from 6 to 10, so there you go, a buff, and reduce the cap of Incendiary Elixir from 160 to 150. Now, there's only one question considering these, okay, and the huge buff, the 40% buff to the base damage. Will this mean that Cocktail main, the Cocktail boy, will be back? I honestly hope not. I honestly hope not. I enjoy playing Greymane a whole lot more into Wolf, into the, you know, melee burst and all whatnot, not into Cocktail boy, but this may mean that Cocktail main is once again viable. Personally though, I don't think so. Level 16, Concentrated Blast has been removed. New talent, Eager Wolf. Check this one out, guys. This one is awesome. Increases the attack speed bonus of Inner Beast by an additional 40% after it has been active for seconds. Okay, so after 4 seconds, especially if you couple this one with On the Prowl, you know, which gives you the movement speed increase, 40% additional attack speed as well over, okay, this is additional, is absolutely freaking awesome. I cannot wait to play with this. And in all honesty, this may be broken. This is so good, it may be broken. Level 20, Unleashed. This was the upgrade to go for the throat, which nobody really picked up at level 20. I kind of went for either Hunter's Blunderbuss, which was the cone splash of your human basic attacks, or the Cleave talent, which I forget what it's called in Worgen form. In addition to its current effect, killing an enemy with Go for the Throat increases the damage of Go for the Throat by 25% for 10 seconds, up to 100%. So that's a big deal. Unleashed, you can pretty much wipe out an entire team with Unleashed, okay, if they're low enough. And now it will be easier, much easier for you to actually keep on going for the throw from target to target, because after you killed one, you get 25% extra. Okay, you kill another, now it's up to 50%. Another, it's up to 75%. Okay, so it will be easy for Greymane at 20 to actually wipe out an entire team and finally get those Unleashed plays we've been dreaming about ever since Greymane got launched. I do love this change, and I cannot wait. Yes, I'm gonna update the Greymane build guide for you guys. Okay, absolutely. I do love these changes to Greymane. Kilnean Roulette. All allied hero damage done to the target will refresh the vulnerable effect duration, so the bullet still will not pass anymore through multiple heroes, just the one. But anybody that deals damage to him, any hero, okay, on your team that deals damage to that specific target, will keep on refreshing the vulnerable. Again, this is a 5-second duration, so plenty of time to refresh that. What can I say? I just hope that his new meta is more into Wolf and less into Cocktail Boy. I don't think we're going back to Cocktail, but it is a possibility. I do love the changes to Eager Wolf and Unleashed, and I cannot wait to bring you guys an updated build guide for Greymane. Moving on to Jaina. Blizzard W increases the number of waves from 2 to 3, reduced damage, however, from 167 to 142, so that's like, what, 10-15% damage reduction, but we do get an additional wave, and also increased the mana cost. Now keep in mind, we used to have a talent, I don't know the name of it because we never picked it up, that did increase the waves from 2 to 3. This has been worked into his to her base kit. Cone of Cold damage has been increased by 15% on the nose, and the mana has been reduced from 50 to 40. So you see a bit of a mana increase here and a bit of a mana decrease here. Jaina does have Conjurer's Pursuit at level 1, which solves your mana issues, and I do recommend you guys picking it up unless you're on Battlefield of Eternity. Talents level 4, Snowstorm has been moved to level 16. Damn it, Blizz. Now, Snowstorm was the one that increased the radius, okay, the area of effect of your W ability Blizzard. It was more or less a very, very favorite talent at level 4. This moved all the way to 16. Arcane Intellect passive reduced the mana return from abilities from 25 to 20. If you didn't go for Conjurer's Pursuit at level 1 and you still wanted a mana talent, this would have been the way to go, and it still will be. And Venom has been removed. It has no place on a mage. It shouldn't have been there in the first place. Level 7 Ice Lance now also restores 10 mana when a chill target is hit by Frostbolt, in addition to its current functionality. There was a Frostbolt Jaina build, well, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, which wasn't really all that viable, and I don't believe this will change that. Again, they are doing a whole lot of buffs to underused talents. Frost Armor level 4 moved to level 4. Reduced block amount from 75 to 50% and increased block cooldown from 8 to 10 seconds. Well, this may be a big deal now for Jaina at level 4, especially considering we got Snowstorm removed. Interesting. Ice Flows E increases cooldown reduction from 0.5 to 1 seconds up to a maximum of 5 seconds per cast. Didn't play a whole lot with Ice Flows or with Frost Armor, not for the most part, but this may change that. I gotta test and see. I can't tell straight off the bat how significant these are. Level 14 Ice Barrier, shield duration increase from 3 to 4 seconds. This is a nice buff to Ice Barrier. Keep in mind that at level 14 you had the range for your W increase, okay, the range for Blizzard, and you also had Icy Veins, which was the I'm gonna blow you the hell up talent. I'm sad to see no changes to Icy Veins because it wasn't all that picked up. I played with it, I like it, but in general it didn't get all that much use, and this may be the new way to go. Ice Barrier at level 13 with Jaina. Level 16, Snow Crash has been removed. Why? Well, Snow Crash did basically this. Okay, it added another wave to your W ability. Interesting changes to Jaina. I wouldn't call it a rework, definitely not that significant. The mana balancing out doesn't really matter all that much. And I don't believe Jaina will be the new hot stuff after this stuff. Sure, her meta will shift a little bit, I guess. We might be playing a whole lot more with Ice Barriers, maybe a whole lot more survivability for Jaina, but from what I played against Jainas on the PTR, not really all that relevant. Even without the free waves, Jaina still has incredible wave clear. Okay, and she is still one of the best clones in game. She and Greymane for Abby. Now, I'm gonna have to test and see, and if I actually believe the changes are meaningful enough, I'm gonna update the build guide. Kael'thas. They keep on nerfing poor Kael. Gravity Lapse E. Cooldown has been reduced from 12 to 4 seconds. Cooldown increased from 12 to 14 seconds, and the mana cost has been increased as well. Okay, a nerf to his E ability, Gravity Lapse. That's the stun. Okay, that's the skill shot stun. Talents level 1, Conviction, damage bonus quest completion increase from 75 to 100. This is an underused talent for Kael'thas at level 1. It's a quest talent. One of the problems with this talent is the fact that if you die while you're on the quest, you lose all progress. Okay, that's one of the problems. It's an underused talent. Mostly people go for the mana thing, okay, which will grant you barrier if you get her 30 globes, I think. I like to play with the ability power increase and the heal on your trait, but yeah. Hopefully now we'll see a whole lot more Conviction play with Kael'thas. Blizzard did specify earlier, not in this patch necessarily, that they are trying to push Kael'thas more into an AoE mage, less than a single target mage. That's why we had all those nerfs to his single target damage capabilities. Level 4 Energy Royal, cooldown reduction increased from 7 to 9 seconds. They did this pretty much because they increased the cooldown here. Will it have any value? Maybe. Again, the skill shot stun, the free people you can stun with E, with an empowered E, is a big deal currently in competitive. Level 7 Sunfire Enchantment, damage reduce. Again, a nerf to his single target damage. They really want us to play AoE with him. Gravity Crush E, damage bonus has been reduced from 30% to 25%. This is not really all that significant. You can still use it to blow people up. It's okay. Rebirth level 20. You know Rebirth? Do you ever play with Rebirth? That's when you move the Phoenix. around, okay, and you get increased duration as well. Very rarely do I actually play with it, if ever. The Rebirth casting range will now center on the Phoenix itself instead of Kael'thas. This can now be repositioned globally. Does this mean we're giving up Master of Flames? Hell no. God, no. Nah. Nice that Blizzard is trying, you know, to pump up the Phoenix upgrade, but no. I would much rather have seen some changes to Pyroblast, which would make it less crappy, but there you go. Changes to Rebirth. Kerrigan. Now, I am sorry, guys. I haven't played Kerrigan in a very, very long while. And I do have some friends which play Kerrigan very well. I am not one of them. Kerrigan, for the most part, was a niche pick and a one-trick pony. Can you get your combo right or can't you get your combo right? That was like 70% to Kerrigan. So I can't really express opinions on her, but we will go through the changes. Base health has been increased. Okay, so you got about, what is that? A 10% increase, something along those lines, about a 10% increase. Health regeneration also increased by approximately 10-9%. Base attack damage increased from 109 to 120. That's a 10% increase, not very significant, but it is something. Ravage mana cost reduced from 50 to 40. Why? Weird. Level 1, Siphoning Impact, now only applies if the target is killed by Ravage. Okay. Sharpen Blades W, damage increased from 20 to 30%. More damage for your W? It's the combo she does is already very potent. You might be picking this one up, you don't need even anybody else to follow up your combo. You might kill your targets by yourself, but then again, that may not be the case. W by itself doesn't do that much damage, and just another 10% on it, I don't think so. Level 4, Clean Kill, mana refunded, reduced from 100 to 75%. Damage bonus, however, has been increased from 20 to 25%. Fury of the Swarm passive, splash damage increased from 50 to 60%. Small buffs to damage here. Psionic Pulse, damage increased from 17 to 24. This is a big increase. This is a big increase in damage. What is that, like 50%? Psionic Pulse, if I'm not mistaken, is the one which granted you a small like burning rage effect after you use your E ability. I may be wrong on that one again. I haven't played Kerrigan in a very long while. Level 7, Impelling Swarm has been removed. Adaptation mana refund increased from 50 to 100%. Assimilation Mastery now increases the duration of assimilation shields by 100% in addition to its current functionality. The duration by 100%. Didn't never feel like the duration was wrong with it, but then again, this will give it makes her a little bit more. She's a little bit more tanky, isn't she? Right? I mean, she's got more health regen. Theoretically, the shields last longer. She's got a little bit of a damage increase as well. Was Kerrigan underpowered? I never felt she was underpowered. I felt she was underused. But she did have her place. Her strongest map was Infernal Shrines. A good Kerrigan on Infernal Shrine would be a nightmare to deal with. You would just leave her alone on the shrine and she would do her thing and you can go to something else. And especially that the lanes are very close together, all the mad ganks she could do again. Can you or can't you get your combo right? A level 13, Queen's Rush movement speed has been increased from 25 to 30% and the cooldown has been reduced to 50 seconds. You remember Sprint? You guys remember Sprint? Long time ago, again, in a galaxy far, far away. At some point, Blizzard decided they don't like Sprint anymore, but they gave Kerrigan's Queen's Rush, which was pretty much a version of Sprint, and this got a very, very significant buff. As far as I know, not that many people play with it, but this definitely looks significant. Lingering Essence has been removed, and at level 15, Blade Torment has been moved to level 7. Now, again, I am no real position to actually judge Kerrigan, because I rarely, if ever, play her. In my last build guide for her was like 6 months ago or stuff like that. I may have to revisit Kerrigan after this. I just hope she becomes more viable than a niche pick, you know. You can see Kerrigans on more maps than just on Infernal Shrines and stuff like that. And still, I think the combo will still remain her main trick, but there we go. Hopefully we'll see more Kerrigan play. Lunara. A Leaping Strike damage has been increased by approximately 10%, so we get about 10% damage increase for Leaping Strike. Leaping Strike did okay damage. Level 1, Photosynthesis, mana restoration increase from 8 to 10 per target hit. Nobody picks up this talent, and nobody will pick up this talent. Man, Lunara doesn't have that many mana issues. Skybound Wisp E, revealed area size increased by 10%. Whatever. Timeless Wisp E, cooldown recharge increased from 100% to 125% at level 4. Most people take Nimble Wisp. Okay, Nimble Wisp allows you to scout an area much more faster. Okay, the other ones are really really underused. This is the problem with making a whole goddamn talent here about her E ability, about the Wisp, okay? Which, yes, it's useful, but it's not all that exciting and, well, doesn't do any damage, doesn't really help outside of vision all that much. I still think we're going for Nimble Wisp with Lunara. Level 7 Splinter Spear. Number of attack targets increased from 3 to 4. Okay, this is cool. Splinter Spear hasn't been seeing any play, just like these other talents, okay? Again, Blizzard is buffing underused talents. Will it see some play now? I don't know. Is it still bugged? Because Splinter Spear was a bug talent. Splinter Spear could attack even environmental objects. You guys know the barrels full of apples and stuff? Yeah, Splinter Spear would actually attack that one. It is not reliable damage, okay? It's not a reliable source of damage if there's minions around and so on and so forth, because it doesn't prioritize heroes. Sure, in an all-out team fight with nothing else around, it's gonna spread that passive of yours quite nicely. I just hope they fixed it at least. It doesn't attack barrels anymore. Nature's Cooling passive. Damage to non-heroes decreased from 200 to 150%. Now this was more or less a must-have on Lunara, especially on Battlefield of Eternity, for example. I wonder if Sylvanas' Barb Shot has been brought into line like this one has. Keep in mind that it was damage over time, so you did have some time to react, and if your team had more instant damage on the Immortal, you could still win the race. But again, this was more or less mandatory for Lunara, not only useful for actually obtaining the Immortal, but defending against one as well. Let's see. And sieging and all whatnot, obviously. Level 13, Pestering Blossom, a range increase from 40 to 50%. This won't change anything. They're trying to buff the Q build. Is that what you're trying to do? They may be trying to buff the Q build, but I don't think we're gonna play Lunara and the Q, definitely not. At level 14, if I'm not mistaken, we got two other better options. Choking Paul and Q, damage bonus increased from 100 to 125%. Yeah, they're trying to make the Q build viable, but I don't think it's gonna turn out that way. Abolish Magic, the level 20 talent cooldown reduced from 45 to 35 seconds. Nope, sorry, still going for Galloping Gate, the survivability. This one brings you on Lunara, the chase potential, the everything. We will still probably be going with Galloping Gate. Tracer changes to Pulse Bomb. Now this isn't significant at all, it's just a reduction in the font. Okay, when you get stuck with the Tracer's Pulse Bomb, it would appear stuck in the middle of your screen, and sometimes that was not what you wanted in the middle of a team fight. It's just a reduction of that font, so nothing gameplay related, not really. Moving on to Abby, Symbiote Q. Symbiote will now be paused if the ally target enters a stasis effect or if Tracer uses her recall ability. Symbiote can still be cancelled in these situations, but no Symbiote allies can be. Damn. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Alright, so what is a stasis effect? Zeratul Void Prism is a stasis effect. Chromeasel E Hourglass Fang is a stasis effect. Okay, so the Symbiote will be paused. During those times, you could no longer attack with the Symbiote while you had it on a stasis target. Level 1, Regenerative Microbes. Did anybody use this? Heal change to over 4 seconds instead of the full duration of Carapace. Heal amount changed from 31 to 68. Wow, more than double health per second. So now theoretically you can like Symbiote a target, heal it, and just leave it alone, but you will still get the cooldown on Symbiote. Bale's, I can never pronounce this, I'm sorry. Toxicness duration increased from 20 to 25%. I don't like this, I hate bloody Toxicness. Doesn't everybody, unless you're playing Abathur, in which case you love them. Sustained Carapace C now increases the Carapace shield amount by 40% instead of increasing the duration by 50%. Wow, nice, 40% extra shield. You know those clutch situations when you think you're dead, it's over, and then Symbiote jumps on you, gives you the shield, and allows you to live. This will be a whole lot more potent with this talent. Level 7, Network Carapace now also applies an untalented Carapace shield to all nearby allied heroes. Wow, this is cool. It would be interesting to see what is the actual splash range, as in the actual applied range for this one. Interesting, cool. A Violence W decreased the slow duration from 3 to 2.5 seconds. Yay! Wipe it out entirely if possible. Goddamn nests. Level 13. Assault Strain increases the explosion damage from 68 to 102. Again, these are underused talents for Abby. As far as I know, we don't really pick up Assault Strain, do we? We pick up the other one, it's Siege Strain or whatever it is. I may be wrong, sorry. Spatial Efficiency now also lowers the cooldown of Stab from 3 to 2.5 seconds in addition to its current functionality. Level 16, Adrenaline Boost E. Movement speed boost duration increased from 3 to 3.5 seconds. Again, underused talents getting buffed. Volatile mutation increases pulse damage from 114 to 137. Interesting. They're trying to make us play Abby a tad differently. I do like this. I think this is really good. Where the hell is it? This. I just have to see the splash, because you can pick up this with this. Okay, you can get sustained carapace with network carapace, and you can mitigate a whole bunch of damage like that. Maybe you're a medieval Abathur. Just saying, I don't know. Level 20, evolution complete. Monstrosity deep tunnel cooldown reduced from 25 seconds. Reduced to 25 seconds from 30 seconds. Okay. Evolutionary link, ultimate evolution shield increased from 20% of maximum health to 25% of maximum health. Okay, so this is a full round of buffs to underused talents. This may change the way we play Abby. I'm curious in the shield thing. Not the biggest Abby player in the world. I don't like it because currently the meta for Abby, you can build them two ways, okay? You can build them for Illidan, I like to call it, or you can build them into Nest, which is absolutely bloody horrible if you're playing it against an Abby. Will this change that? Maybe. Hopefully, okay? As long as I don't see vile nests everywhere anymore, I'll be happy, but obviously time will tell, and I cannot judge just by this alone. Azmodan. Demonic Invasion no longer deals half damage to heroes, so now would actually be worthwhile to use it on a hero, on a bunch of clumped up heroes. Demonic Invasion is the other heroic ability nobody used. Again, buff to underused talent. Normally we get the pool because we play Azmodan into dunks, okay? And the pool will buff that significantly. Level 1. Sieging Wrath Q. New functionality. Quest. Gain 4 damage per enemy hero hit, up to a maximum of 100 damage. Okay, interesting. Reward. Gain an additional 100 damage and increases maximum range by 33%. Wow, this is cool. This is definitely cool for Asmo. Taste for Blood Q. The window where minion deaths grant additional damage reduced. Oh, come on. You gotta make up your mind, Blizz. When they launched the Azmodan skin, they increased the window in which we can kill the minions. Now they reduced it back again. Cheap tricks, Blizz. Cheap tricks. Master of Destruction E, new functionality, no longer grants bonus damage to structures, okay? Now grants 10% range after each level of damage ramp up, okay. Level 4, Gluttony E, healing increase. We might be picking this one up now. Before we move on, we might be picking this one up now, Sieging Wrath, instead of Taste for Blood. It could be cool, definitely need to try it out, especially since I got the skin. Gluttony, okay, healing increase from 15 to 20%. This is good because what Azmodan is a goddamn blob on the minimap. He has no escape, no mobility, no nothing. What he does have is a lot of health. This may help him survive some ganks. Since Grasp, active damage increased. Again, nobody used this. Total duration increased from 6 to 8 seconds. Level 7, Infernal Globe no longer applies a damage over time. Why? Fine. Infused Power. Damage bonus increased from 25 to 40% and moved to level 13. This was for the E, right? Yeah. The damage bonus increase is big, especially if we couple it with the healing here on Gluttony, but it's all the way at 13 now. Okay, we can couple these together, 4 and 7 really quickly. Gluttonous Ward. Restoration per tick increased from 2.4 to 3. Whatever, doesn't matter. Level 14, March of Sin. Moved to level 7. March of Sin wasn't... Am I wrong in saying it's the one that allowed you to move while you used your E? So I think we can actually build a QE Azmodan now. Pick up this talent at level 1, then just focus E talents at 4, 7, and 13. March of Sin with the Infused Power and Gluttony. Might be cool to try out this one. Level 16, Blood for Blood. Talent renamed to Sin for Sin. Wow, Blizzard, you so shabby chic, Blizzard. Sin for Sin works identically to Blood for Blood, but can be cast while channeling All Shall Burn. Cool. Moving on to Gazlowe. Gazlowe. He got a rework. He's still not that good. He's not trash anymore. Okay, fine. Gazlowe's not trash anymore, but still not that good, and he's still pretty easy to kill. Salvage will no longer dismount Gazlowe if used, whatever. Robo Goblin damage increased from 150% to 200%. You guys know Robo Goblin? Okay, you turn it into Robo Goblin and you do a whole lot more damage to stuff. It would help you with soloing boss, for example, clearing lanes, mercenary camps. More damage for this, more power to Gazlowe. Very low, actually. Level 7, Rocket Turret, Turret Excel. Damage increased from 50% to 60%. Nice. I like this. The turret build is still a thing. I know there's also a laser build for Gazlowe and an E build for Gazlowe. Extra large bombs, radius increase from 25 to 30%, not that big of a deal. The radius was already big if you picked up extra large bombs anyway, so it would be easier to catch multiple heroes with this one. Cool. Level 20, Mecha Lord. Damage increase from 150 to 200. Well, you get it? You get it. So again, I would accept at this point any buffs on Gazlowe. More buffs on Gazlowe, please. Definitely. Sylvanas, level 13, Windrunner. A 0.5 second cooldown time has been added to prevent accidental casting of the second Haunting Wave. Hold on, what? 0.5 second cooldown time has been added to prevent accidental casting of the second Haunting Wave. What is this, noob proofing? Is this noob proofing? Why do we need more noob proofing in Heroes of the Storm? Isn't it casual enough? And also, sometimes you would want to actually recast this a whole lot faster when fighting somebody, just so you get full stacks of your Q ability, Withering Fire. This is just plain stupid. Whatever. I don't like it one bit. This is like the first change I read up until this point that I think is just flat out stupid. Whatever. The Lost Vikings. Each of the Lost Vikings will now display individual messages in the chat when using Hearthstone, so therefore let's spam the chat. Select all of them, B, you know, yeah, definitely. It's a spam chat tool, obviously. Talents level 20, Mortal Wound for Mr. Zul. This talent effect will now only reduce healing received by the target while the Mortal Wound effect is active. Healing effects that continue after the Mortal Wounds effect ends will no longer be reduced. Will no longer reduce healing received by healing wells or reduce the duration of heal over time effects. So Malfurion's things, for example. I was just thinking of Malfurion's things. Interesting. We didn't pick up Mortal Wound all that often. It would be good. Mortal Wound is really good at denying large heals, like for example Uther's Q ability, which is instant, or Rhaegar's Ancestral thing as well. I do like Mortal Wound, did play around with it, but now with this probably we'll still pick it up in the same situations, but it doesn't change all that, and it doesn't really change all that much for Zulio. I don't think this needed this. Whatever. Zagara. Alright guys, I'm gonna end it now because Zagara has a huge rework and I really gotta take my time with her. Okay, this is one of the biggest reworks we got up until this point and I just can't blast through it, and this is gonna be the end of part 1. I'm gonna thank you guys for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you think about all of this. Give me your input, okay, especially on Kerrigan and Abathur, because on those I can't really tell all that much. And I'll see you guys in part 2 with the rest of the changes. Oh, and also, what do you think of the meta shift we got incoming? I think it's pretty clear, okay? We're moving into the dawn of the specialist, the era of the pushes and all whatnot. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you again soon. Bye everybody. Bye bye.